You know, I haven't seen a stop animation film in quite some time. I do appreciate and respect the effort that goes into it. I can't even remember off the top of my head the last one I saw, but I was interested in this one. But how did it turn out? Let's talk about it. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Just My Opinion for my Wendell and Wild review on Netflix. And if this is your first time finding me and you happen to like the video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. All right, guys, now we have Wendell and Wild, Wild and Wendell. And like I said, you know, stop animation films are pretty cool. It's been a minute since I've seen one. But to be honest with you, the only reason I was interested in this one right here is because of the producer, the writer, Jordan Peele. I'm a fan of his work. Of course, I like Get Out, Really Didn't Care for Us. And I did like Nope. And I was a fan of his comedy stuff back in the day. But I heard about this, and my friend actually told me about it and was like, hey, man, this new Jordan Peele movie coming out. You going to see it? I'm like, of course I'm going to see it. But then I found out it wasn't directed by Jordan Peele. It was directed by Henry Selick, and Jordan Peele was only the writer and producer. But Henry Selick, this gentleman right here, is also the director and the writer of this film. And if we scroll down and just look at his filmography, there's some interesting titles right here. Coraline came out in 2009. Guys, that was a great film. If you haven't seen it, you're missing out. We also have The Nightmare Before Christmas, came out in '93. James and the Giant Peach. I enjoyed all of these movies. And when I found out that he was the director and not Jordan Peele, I wasn't disappointed because these are great films. So I was somewhat looking forward to it, especially with the cast being Black-centered. I mean, we have Keegan-Michael Key, Jordan Peele, Angela Bassett, James Hong. I've known this man. He's not black, but he's been in a lot of stuff in the past before, and I did like it. And we also have Ving Rhames. I'm a big fan of Ving Rhames, taking it all the way back to Baby Boy and before that. But before I get into all the nitty gritty, before I talk about all my likes and dislikes, let me tell you exactly what this film is all about. Two scheming demon brothers, Wendell and Wild, enlist the aid of 13-year-old cat Elliot to summon them to the land of the living. All right, guys, the first thing that I did like about this film was the stop animation. Like I said, I think the third time now, I do like those films. It's a very unique style, and that was the biggest standout in this film, in this movie on Netflix. I don't know, even if it's not a big deal to you, I like it just because it takes so long to shoot a few frames, and just the amount of dedication that puts into this, it just makes me respect it and like it much more. And it did look nice on screen, I will say that. The next thing that I liked about this film was the music and the score. And that is something that stood out to me when I watch my television shows or movies. Sometimes it kind of blends in with everything else and it really doesn't stand out. But there was a few moments to where it caught my attention. It did keep me engaged for a moment, and I enjoyed it. And so I like the music. I like the score. The next thing that I liked about this film is the way that it addressed racism and or white supremacy, or just how that can tie into real society that we live in today. Speaking specifically about the prison industrial complex, the school to prison pipeline, which is a real thing. Unfortunately, the people in power, the dominant society, they do take advantage of certain groups of people, especially that look like me, put them in certain economic positions to where it is impossible for them to succeed, to thrive in this country. And the only places they're going to end up is going from school, dropping out, and straight to the prison systems, a pipeline to make profits for these private institutions. It's disgusting, but it's something that goes on still today. And this film did address that. And now, guys, let me transition to some things that I really didn't care for in this film. And unfortunately, guys, this movie was not for me. I did not enjoy it. I struggled throughout this whole picture wanting to like it, but it just was not grabbing me. The movie is 1 hour and 45 minutes. And that does include credits. And I'm not trying to be funny or exaggerate when I say this, but I was overjoyed when it ended. I tried to watch this film 5 times, and Netflix was nice enough to let me see it early, and I was still not able to get through it because that's why this review was coming out after its release to everybody else. There was not one character in this movie that I liked on the good side or the bad side, on the protagonist side or the antagonist side. And you're thinking about the cast or the title of the film, Wendell and Wild, that is being filled up by Jordan Peele and Keegan-Michael Key, these gentlemen right here that you know very, very well. And I just was not able to attach myself to these characters. I did not like anything about their speech, their tone, the way they looked. They were just ugly. And I really didn't understand why they were so motivated to move into the living world. I also found a number of things in this film detestable, with them playing with boogers. I just thought that was nasty. At one point in the film, they used it as a weapon, and I don't know. That's just something that I don't want to see. Now, I don't want my opinion of this film to deter you away from seeing it yourself, and you do have the convenience of watching it at home on your couch, comfortable. But on Rotten Tomatoes, everybody else liked it. It got a 79% from the critics, an 87% from the audience, and 73 critics did review this. But guys, it just did not work for me. I don't really care for the girl Kat or Kay. She just was nobody. I mean, I understand that she went through a lot. She lost her parents, but I was still not able to sympathize with her only within the first 5 minutes of the film. Other than that, I was very annoyed. I also want to know how the trans community feels about this film, because there was a trans male in this film. He was born a woman named Ramona and transitioned to over a male named Raul. And everybody does like some type of representation. That makes perfect sense. And I have no problem with trans people being in this movie. But to me, it seems like it will be offensive to the trans community. I don't know. I want to hear from them. But the only acknowledgement trans got in this film was the mistake of everybody coming into contact with this character getting their identity wrong. I just think that would be annoying and quite shallow if you ask me, but I could be wrong. Every time somebody came up to the character of Raul, they would forget that it was now a man born. They would still call him Ramona instead of Raul, and the character would get offended. I don't understand. I mean, I just think that if you're, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to pretend like I know. I don't want to pretend like I understand. I am trying to understand, but that was just a bit weird to me. Again, the way they address trans people in this film as of, oh crap, I forgot you were a man now instead of a woman. You know, it just, that kept happening over and over and over again. So I don't know, that was just kind of weird to me. Ving Rhames plays a character called Buffalo Bazaar that lives under the ground, that's building a fair, and he's the father of Wendell and Wild and Wendell, and he uses magic hair grease that helps him grow his hair and bring people back. I just didn't care, guys. I fell asleep 4 to 5 times trying to watch this movie, and I've never struggled this hard in my entire life to see a film. I don't even feel comfortable rating it because I don't feel like I can give a proper assessment, but I tried and it just didn't do it for me. I was dreadfully bored watching this movie. I was trying to pay attention to the message, see if there was deeper meaning of how your past can haunt you and that's holding you back and you have to kind of just let go and move on. But goodness gracious, the character lost their mom and dad and they feel like it's their fault. How can you get over that? I don't get it. I don't get it. It just, again, I am not saying that this film is bad. It just wasn't for me. I guess I was just not in the right headspace, but I do not have enough physical or mental energy to try to sit through this again to see if it's actually good or not. So if this review turns you off, I'm sorry, but that's just where I'm at this moment. If I had to rate this film out of a 1 out of 10, I wouldn't even give it a rating because I just don't feel right doing so. But guys, if you do want to see it, guess what? You don't have to go to the theater. You can watch it in the convenience of your own home on Netflix right now if you do have a subscription. But guys, again, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget that my name is Brandon Keith Avery, and that's just my opinion. Peace.